celebrate the feast of two English martyrs, St. John Fisher and St. Thomas More. Fisher was born in Beverley, Yorkshire, in 1469, studied at Cambridge University, was ordained and became one of the leading theologians of his age. Bishop of Rochester, where he was renowned for his good administration and his care for the poor. St. Thomas More was the son of a judge born in 1477 in London, one of the brilliant minds of his generation. He became Lord Chancellor in 1529 and wrote several books, the most influential of which, Utopia, is still read today. Both leading lights of their generation, and yet both destined for execution for their refusal to accept King Henry VIII as the supreme head of the Church in England. These men lived at a time of rapid change, new ideas, new influences. Both were friends of Erasmus, the Dutch humanist, who powerfully advocated the need for reform in the Church. Both were young men when Columbus reached the Americas in 1492, altering the course of world history with a sudden influx of gold from the Americas into Europe, and seeing the dominance of Spain for the following century. And finally, both of them lived through a change which was just as radical as the changes that we are going through in our own lifetime. We live with rapidly changing systems of communication. And in that time, a new system of communication was altering life just as radically. Gutenberg had invented the press in 1440, the first press at least in Europe. And by the end of the 15th century, printing had spread widely throughout the whole of Europe, with an estimated 150 to 200 million copies being produced per year. So these men lived in revolutionary times, new discoveries, new ideas, radical new forms of communication. And as in our own day, these changes are not easy to navigate. To their opponents, Fisher, and in particular More, have been characterized as inflexible, holding on to outmoded and dangerous attitudes and beliefs. There was no greater claim when St. Thomas More was beatified in 1931 here in England. Of course, greater claim within the Catholic Church, but wider society still shared a suspicion of this man who had been categorized as an extremist, a radical, somebody who stood against progress. And yet these two brilliant men understood, perhaps more deeply than their contemporaries, how human beings need to learn from the wisdom of past generations. Look at any society, any culture, anything that lasts is based upon an ancient wisdom. And they saw that human and church development is not impeded by respectful engagement with those who went before them. Which is not to say that they or we should accept uncritically all that we have inherited from the past. More's Utopia provided his contemporaries with plenty to ponder upon. But it did not set out to be a blueprint for a future society, a society to be inherited by those who are the heirs to the true commonwealth. Rather, More invites the reader to enter into an imaginative space where past, present, and future intersect, opening a conversation rather than presenting a manifesto. In our own times, we need new Fishers and new Mores, brilliant minds, courageous spirits to help us navigate these rapid changes we live through. And in the midst of that, to hold true to everything that we have inherited which is good, and above all, in their integrity, to hold true to Jesus Christ and his church. For without Christ there is no future for humanity. Christ, who is the wisdom of all generations.